Okay, let me get rid of that. Cool. So today we're gonna. Thanks. We're going to kick it off by talking about JavaScript classes. Essentially, you've been working with classes from the beginning in React, right? Because any stateful components in React is a class. Yeah? So I'm just going to create a new class, okay? Well, actually, how would you create a class? What do I need after that first? Yeah, I need a constructor. Cool. Is it a question already, Jack, or is it just a stretch? Okay. It's fine, don't worry. So I'm just going to create some attribute here. Oops. Sorry. Okay. So there's quite a lot going on here already. So basically, every time you create a class, what you're doing is that you're creating a template that you can use or reuse anytime that you create an object, okay? So the object will be an instance, an example of that class, yeah? And in the class, you're defining everything that it means to be a particular individual of that class, yeah? So in there, we're saying, like, what does it mean to be a Jedi, you know? What sort of properties, qualities does it have? So here we've got a name and a rank, yeah? So this, you're going to see it a lot in the next few weeks, and I think you're going to cover it in more details later on in the bootcamp. But just for now, all I'm going to say is that it refers to the current object instance that you happen to be making at this point in time, if that makes sense, right? So we're going to create an object in a second. Does that make sense so far? Any questions? No? Right. Okay, so we're going to create an object or an instance of that class. Okay. Does anyone know what this keyword new does? What was that? A new value? Almost, yeah. Can you be a bit more precise? Yeah. So you're basically creating a new object. That's what you're doing. You're creating an example, like an individual of that class, an instance of that class. Yeah? So what will happen if I type Jedi.name? Sorry?
Does it pull private from the object?
Yeah.
No, in the original class.
Yeah, that's what it should do, yeah. Yeah, okay, so we get Qui-Gon, yeah? What do I get if I type Jedi.rank? Yeah, that's right. Okay, so far so good. What do I get if I type, I don't know, Jedi.lightsaber? Yes, that's correct. Let's check it, but yeah, we do get undefined, yeah? So anytime that you're using the keyword new, you're creating a new object and you are invoking the constructor of the object, yeah? Does that make sense? Any question?
Invoking?
You're invoking the constructor, yeah? Good? So you can also, if you want to, so you've been here, you've stored data, yeah? But you can also, if you want to, you can create some method, right? So if I want a function to get the color of whoever lightsaber, I can do that as well if I want to. And then how would I get that value? Did anyone see what I did? Yeah, so I created a function there, or a method, in the class. How would I get my value green? Name of the method, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, great. So that should work. Yeah, so we get green, okay?
But in this case, it's a function. It's not the same as the first.
No, so when you create a class, yes, you are encapsulating, if you want, in that template, so that the class is your template for any new object you're going to create, and you're encapsulating the data that you want to store in it. So what are the properties, what are going to be the properties of my object, yeah? And you are also incorporating methods or functions, if you like.
Okay.
Yeah, so like you can think of the methods as actions if you want. Yeah, and the data is like the information, the properties of that object.
Okay.
Yeah?
Is it part of Untitled Programming?
Yes, so that's, you will often hear the phrase object-oriented programming. That's what, yeah, that's part of that. That's right. So the goal is that, you know, you are integrating data, information, properties, and functionality. So the functionality are all of the methods that you're including in that class, the functions. So you're incorporating data and functionality together. Yeah? Okay. I'm going to clear my console. Is there any questions so far? Any more questions? No?
If you create instead of a class an object, can you do that as well or not?
What do you mean?
Because if you create an object, you can give it properties, right? Like name, address.
Yeah, sure. That, well, I mean, that's kind of what you're doing, right? It's just the class is like your blueprint, if you like.
Okay.
You know, it's almost like, you know, architects, right? They draw a map of the building they want to build. Yeah, they can build an example based on that map of that building in London, and they still have the map, right? They still have the blueprint of that building. So if they want to, they can build it again in Hong Kong, for example. Yeah? So that's what you're doing. That's your blueprint. That's your map for any object you want to create. Does that make sense? I think it will make more sense after when I... Yeah. Okay. How... well, let's do it. So I'm gonna create a new class, yeah? But let's say I want this class to have similar properties to my previous class Jedi. What keyword do I need to use? Extends, yeah, good. So I'm gonna say extends what? We're not in React, we are in JavaScript, and I want my class Padawan to have all of the properties of my class Jedi. So extends what?
From Jedi.
Yeah, exactly. Extends Jedi, right? Good. What else do I need? You will need a super, that's right, but before that? Constructor, yes. Okay. And then someone mentioned the super as well. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to create a new instance object of that class, yeah? I'm using the new keyword again. Am I right? Yeah, okay. Right now, what's going to happen if I type Padawan dot, name. What do you think is going to happen? Okay, yeah? Does everyone agree? So Seb said it's gonna have the value Qui-Gon.
Maybe you should use this and you should.
Okay?
You haven't got anything in your class which is called the information.
Sorry?
In your original class, you don't have any name such as Paul in the object, so we're all undefined.
Okay, should I run it and show it? Okay. Yeah, so Sonia was and Seb were right, yeah? So the super is a function that will essentially invoke the constructor of the parent class. And in my example right now, the parent class is which one? Jedi, that's right. So the parent class is Jedi. And the child class is Padawan, yeah? So, again, you're going to talk about this later in the bootcamp, but this is the concept of inheritance, right? So here, your child class is inheriting all of the properties of your parent class, which is Jedi. That's why, because we haven't yet assigned any other name to our child class, right now it's inheriting all of the properties and values of the parent class. That's why we get Qui-Gon, yeah? So how would I reassign a name, like to my child? How would I rename the child class?
This name.
Yeah, this dot name, yeah, equal Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah.
I hope you guys know your classics. If you don't, it's part of the blue ticks as well. I'm joking. Okay, so now it should work, yeah? That's right. Yeah, okay, so now we're getting Obi-Wan, okay? And again, if you wanted to, you could in there, you could create your method, yeah? I don't know, get special skill, whatever. I think Obi-Wan is good at mind manipulation. That would be cool, wouldn't it? To get your first job. Yeah, it works. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Any questions? No? Does that make sense? Yeah. So yeah, just to recap. So you're creating a class. In that class, you're going to store some data, some information. Yeah, and you're going to store also some actions or methods using functions. Okay, you're going to create a new object instance of that class by using the keyword new. Yeah. And this, in that example, is referring every time to that object instance. Yeah. So in that case, this will refer to our object Padawan. I think that's it, really. Do you want to cover?
Wait, one minute. So we created the class Jedi, right?
Yeah.
And we created the class Padawan as well.
Yes. So yeah. So our class Jedi is the parent. Yeah.
Okay, so with the extend, we made the Jedi. The parent.
Yes, exactly. So that keyword here extends. Think of it of another keyword to say, okay, I'm creating a new class, but this is the child of my parent class. So I want that class to have the same properties of my parent class.
And with
And
new, we created an object.
And with new, you're creating a new object, yes.
And with that, in that object, we call the properties of Padawan inside Padawan. Can you?
You mean down there?
Yeah, down there.
Yeah, so I'm creating a new variable and I'm saying, yeah, I want this object to have the properties that I've established in my template, in my blueprint, in the class, yeah?
Alright.
Yeah? Yeah, sorry, Jack, yeah.
So, you know when you put the this dot name into the child component, the Obi-Wan,
Mm-hmm.
why does that now stop you from putting Qui-Gon with it? When there's no this dot name within the child
Yeah.
component,
It doesn't. If you do rank on Padawan, you will still have the rank that comes from
Yeah.
Jedi.
Oh, okay.
It hasn't stopped you using anything from Jedi. It's just overwritten the name.
That's
Yeah, that comes from Jedi.
Yeah, you can try if you want.
terms
Yeah.
of like scenarios where you'd actually be using like multiple, I guess, child classes within a parent, what would be like the primary use? Like, is it more as like a fail-safe, having a parent class in there? What goes wrong?
You answer, or shall I? I can.
Well, I think my idea is that the parents is basically again like giving you a blueprint, right? That's where you're putting all of the properties. That's a bit like your library, if you like. And then when you have the child, even though you're gonna have similar properties, or similar key, but you may not have obviously the same value. But you don't want to be, every single time having to say, yeah, I want those keys in there, those properties, blah blah blah. I think it's I'm not sure if that's the right answer, but
Yeah, so why do we use classes in general? Well, just to save time, because if we're creating lots of objects that are similar, what's the point of rewriting all of these properties all the time if some of them are shared? The classic example is with cars, right? You go to a car factory, most cars have 4 wheels, yeah, you get 3-door or 5-door variations, but then you can just extend your basic 5-door car, create a 3-door class, right, to make that change, or you can just set it afterwards. But cars have a lot of shared properties, right? Mirrors, windscreen wipers, indicators, all these things belong to a car. So you would just create a class of car, initially, and then following on from that, you might create a 3-door car class that extends car, and that just changes the number of doors. What else might change? But even then, you can still set these properties. You can still set doors and colour, yeah, because every car at least has a colour and has some doors, hopefully. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to get into it. Yeah. So it's just a way of saving time, and it's a way in JavaScript of using inheritance. And believe it or not, you've been using inheritance all the time already. Next week's board challenge, we'll talk about inheritance. Classes are one way to do that. So where we've used extends, we're inheriting from the Jedi objects. Yeah, we're inheriting specifically a name property and a rank property, and when we had the get lightsaber color or something, then that was also inheriting that property for any new object that we create. Use it all the time because you create arrays and you create strings and you create all these objects, right? You create all these predefined objects in JavaScript. How do you think you can use .map and .filter and .split and .splice and all of these methods? Where do they come from? Huh?
But they come from a predefined object.
They come from a predefined object that is part of the JavaScript language. They don't specifically come from a class, but a class is just a syntax way of making an object, yeah? Classes are new to JavaScript. Does anyone know why we have classes in JavaScript? Why did they get introduced to the language? We did without them until 2015.
To extend the functionality to the backend or something like that.
To me, it doesn't really extend any functionality. We had this functionality to begin with in JavaScript. Do you have another suggestion, Jack?
Is it because other languages predominantly use classes?
Yeah, that, right? Other languages, other popular languages, the most notable being Java, has classes. It's very object orientated, that language, and the pressure from the Java community and other communities, they wanted something like classes, Java classes in JavaScript. Now, we didn't really get that because this is just syntax sugar. It hasn't changed the internal workings of the language, so a lot of people don't like JavaScript classes for that reason, but they're still a useful tool in your arsenal. And obviously you can see that React certainly used classes exclusively for a long, long time, right? When we do, Kieran said it, what did you say, Kieran? Extends React.component, right? So to begin with, any component that you created in React was extending a component class that the writers of React had made for you to make encapsulating all your logic and all these shared methods such as component did now and all that sort of stuff. That's why they made a class, to make it easy to share all these properties and methods for any new custom component that you created. So you've used that time and time again already, and you've used inheritance for pretty much any built-in method that you've used in the JavaScript language as well. So you've been using it without knowing, and it's very, very powerful stuff, but we haven't decided to introduce that topic right at the start of the course, because it's a bit mind-bending to begin with. You need Obi-Wan on your side to understand it. Yeah.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Is static method part of the methods in class?
So you're talking about those other keywords like static,
Yeah.
private,
Yeah.
all those sorts of keywords. What was your question? Is it part of
One of the methods in class.
one of the methods in class? Is it a method? I'm not sure. Keywords are a bit different to methods.
Yeah.
Because I remember
It
counters the object, so you want all of
yeah,
objects.
they use
So
it
you
quite a lot in object-oriented
You
programming.
counter is it new that called is an object? Is new an object?
Yeah, every time you're using the keyword new, you're creating a new instance of whatever data type you're
So
using.
new's not an object itself.
No.
New's an operator, the same
Yeah.
way a plus or a minus is an operator.
You-
Yeah.
How
So you could even say you can do new class as well. You can use it on any.
Yeah, I think you can do new class,
Yeah.
but you could also do things like new array.
Yeah.
So if you did new array, what does that do? I'm asking the group, what does that do if we write new array? It does, yeah, it creates
Yeah.
a new array,
Yeah.
but specifically we said in the case of a class, it invoked the constructor function, yeah? So that keyword new, eventually it does a few steps, but it's invoking a constructor function somewhere. So when you do new array, it invokes a constructor function of an array to set up all the properties that an array needs to have.
So the static method.
The static method, I'm not too sure what that invokes, what lines of code that runs, to be honest. I don't really use it, but if anyone has used it, please share with the group.
One question. If instead of creating a class,
Mhm.
you create an object, you are not able to make different objects of one original object. I don't know. Maybe not.
So you want to copy an object and then add other stuff to it? Is that what you're saying?
No, because maybe I misunderstood, but when I was reading about objects, I thought that you could do something like this
Mm-hmm.
with an object.
So this is what the next board challenge is going to be about. One of the methods you have that is attached to the object, I want to say. One of the methods that is attached that you can use with any object, to create any object is object.createClass.
No, I haven't
No,
gone that
not
far.
create class, object.create, just object.create, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And object.create will create a new object that can inherit everything from another object that already exists.
But objects can have properties,
Yeah.
can have functions inside, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Any type of data type
Okay.
has got properties like data, and they also have specific method attached to them, right?
Okay.
So like with strings you have like dot length, dot split, that sort of things. With dot reverse, etc. Yeah. So you have that with object as well, where you're gonna have specific methods. Same for arrays.
So the idea is that you will use classes when you think you are going to need several objects that will be similar with each other? Or
Yeah, as we said, I think as Gray mentioned, like the class allows you to save time by, what's up? Oh yeah, it's because of the
Thanks.
spell. So every time you if you know you're gonna have objects that will have similar properties, like Gray's example of the different cars, right? You don't want to be repeating every single time that your car is gonna have 4 wheels and 4 doors and whatever else, like, yeah. So you want to be able to like create a new object that is gonna set like a new property, such as change the color of the car, but obviously all of the other qualities of the cars or properties of the cars are the same. So you're using like the class is really your blueprint, your map, yeah.
So the one we choose for the class would be the one that all the childs share those attributes.
Exactly, yeah. So all the children of that parent class will inherit all of the attributes, properties, qualities of the parent. Yeah? It will make next week you're gonna
children can have more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Children
you
can have
can-
more.
Not
yeah.
less, but can have less. No.
Yeah, you can. If you wanted, you could delete a property of the parents in the child object if you want, in the child class. Sorry. So you can delete properties and you can add properties if you want to.
Okay.
But in any case, it will initially, before you decide to do any modification on that specific object instance, it will have exactly the same properties as the parent.
Okay.
But then you can do pretty much whatever you want with the child. I mean, as long as it makes sense, really. But yeah.
Yeah.
Should we do that very quickly? Just create a new property again on the child.
Yeah.
So initially, let's say we didn't even have a constructor for our new class. Can we do that? Whoa. Line what? 15.
So,
This one here. This one
Oh,
here.
because
that's the
I didn't realise it had a method as well. Okay, so it lets us still extend it without a constructor. And what I've done here is I've just shown you that Padawan is just an object. So what properties does Padawan have if it extends Jedi?
Qui-Gon and Master.
What properties does it have? Not values.
Oh, no, name.
Name and rank, yeah? So if we look at the Padawan object, we can clearly see it has name and rank properties. Yeah, these are just objects, key value pairs, yeah? Key, value, property, value, yeah? Same thing. We can also see where it inherits from. Jedi. Yeah, so it's getting these properties from Jedi. Which, is an object essentially, which inherits from an object, yeah? So it all comes from an object. But if we wanted to add something different, something new to Jedi, then that is when we need our constructor. Our construct in our child, yeah? So that's when we need to add a constructor. Otherwise it just gets invoked by default. The constructor of the parent gets invoked by default. Only when we want to add something new or overwrite it that we need a constructor on the child. So that's why we've called super, to make sure that we still get these properties, and then we can add whatever we want afterwards. So we can overwrite, we can add a method, Yeah, and that's done inside the child class. Does that answer your question a bit more, Seb? Yeah, sort of. Yeah, I don't really want to say anything else. I don't.
Yeah, do the board challenge next week and then revisit this workshop maybe. Because then you'll be like, that's what they meant. But yeah, I think it'll make more sense as well next week once you talk about inheritance in more details. Yeah.
I have one question.
Yeah.
If we didn't put super, we can pass our values from parent component.
Take the super out
Mm-hmm.
and see what happens.
And without overwriting, right?
You can leave it there, right?
Yeah.
The question's about super. Must call super. Oh, okay. Go on, take this out as well.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
the way that you use
because
this,
yeah. Oh, probably need to get rid of the function as well. Don't know.
Understand. If we, yeah, understand. It couldn't work.
No.
So it won't work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have a constructor inside of the child, which is what pad 1 is, you must call super if you want. Well, if it's extending, you must call super basically, yeah. Or you have nothing at all, and if you have nothing at all, it assumes you want to call super. Yeah.
Yeah, the super is the function that allows you to invoke the constructor of the parent
Yeah.
as opposed to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
child. Yeah. Any other question or should we wrap up? Yeah? Okay, cool. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.